And a good Monday spring morning to you. This weather video driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, and 802 Honda, all located off of exit 7 on Interstate 89. This is our setup right now. We have more thunderstorms expected to develop somewhere in this area here and then overspread through Vermont. This will be a fairly short window, as a lot of it will be out of here by around 3:30 this afternoon and pushed into parts of eastern New England, where I think the chances are actually better to see some more severe thunderstorms off to our east. So they power up through Vermont, but probably stronger toward New Hampshire, and as we get into Maine and certainly southern parts of New England. The other area, of course, is almost a repeat action here in the plains. You can see a lot of thunderstorm activity popping off here with these colors. That is actually lightning in the clouds. You see some over here and across some parts of the tropics. And the other thing that's kind of interesting to note is they're having a lot of massive forest fires down in parts of Mexico. And in this particular area west of the Yucatan, some of that is feeding north, and there's been studies in the past that do show that this actually adds to the rainfall scenario. So kind of a severe weather setup here. Some of that smoke, of course, from the tropics, subtropics, will be getting into Vermont eventually as this air mass pinwheels around an area of higher pressure and pushes east eventually later on. So here's a quick look at some of the dynamics going on, focusing on Vermont and New England in general. We had some rain showers off to the south of us, but these are going by, and this is from earlier this morning, as this is the leftovers of the stuff that moved through last night and has weakened considerably as it's headed eastbound. We have a new general area here where showers and thunderstorms are more than likely to develop. Some of these also upstream across parts of southeastern Ontario, but I think these would be the ones that will sweep on in. Still kind of a question mark right now whether they really get going before they hit New Hampshire and into parts of Maine and southern New England. So, always fun to watch how surface-based CAPE develops. That's convective available potential energy. Right now, this is a mixed layer CAPE aloft. But the interesting thing is, as we go to surface-based CAPE, you can see that it really does develop. And in the most recent hours here, after 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, we're already into some pretty good CAPE now. Just taking a look at that here, you can see CAPEs are around 1,300 joules per kilogram. Most unstable CAPE, even a little bit higher. 1,600, I see a few of these areas around the Champlain Valley. So we're starting to generate some instability here with surface heating, where we have very little in the way of cloud cover. Enough sunshine to penetrate down. There are some clouds off to the west, and the formation of some lighter showers could be the makings of what will be some sort of a band that will work on through. Looking at the NAM model, you can see that a little bit of precipitation works in across New York, and then it powers up into some thunderstorm activity. This is valid about noontime, 16Z, and you can see those storms working in through north central Vermont, some parts of southern Vermont, southern Rutland County, northern Bennington. And then they push off with most of the action ending before 3:30. Southern parts of Vermont may see some lingering isolated cells, but it looks like they're not that strong as they work on to the south and east. And this is the current NAM model, so a little bit of a lengthening of the thunderstorm activity across parts of southern Vermont. Here's the European 6-hour increments. You can see that this is valid about 8 o'clock this morning, and this is the thunderstorm activity we're expecting to see. The European highlights a couple areas, it looks like generally along the spine of the greens, a little bit to the west maybe. And this is valid at 18Z, so that's 2 o'clock this afternoon, and then you can see a lot of that works its way off to the east, so a little bit carries over beyond 2 o'clock into 3 o'clock, and then just a couple leftover rain showers or sprinkles. It looks like parts of northern Vermont. This is valid through 2 o'clock in the morning, tomorrow morning, Tuesday. And then that kind of works on out, but more of these lighter showers working on a northwesterly wind. It looks like during the afternoon across parts of northern Vermont with a fine day on Wednesday. That's the good news. A nice break in the action, a little bit on the cooler side. Now, Thursday, most of the day looks to be dry up until the time we get late. And this is a good signature of a northwesterly flow group of thunderstorms, and this seems to be confirmed now, where it looks like we'll probably see some active weather along about Thursday, late in the afternoon into the evening hours. You can see that there's some pretty good rainfall associated with that. The models are trying to derive, this being the European. And then it pushes out pretty quickly so that by Friday morning, looks like most of the action's in the process of exiting and drying out, but not everywhere. It looks like a little bit of shower activity lingering on Friday, but the caveat here is it'll probably dry out the trends. Now, as we get into Saturday, we got another round of showers and thunderstorms working in from the west. At this point, it's mostly a northern Vermont phenomena as it looks right now, and by the time we get into Sunday and then beyond, it looks like a dry weather day, with most of the action staying south and north of our region right into Monday, Memorial Day. This is fairly low confidence, but that would be pretty fine by a lot of folks to have a dry Sunday and Monday, Memorial Day. Here's the GFS ensemble centered on Montpelier. You can see some precipitation here that'll be exiting through the afternoon. A little bit of a sprinkles or light rain shower activity again centered on Montpelier. This is more effective across northern Vermont. Then we dry out for a spell, and that's kind of nice. And this is our business that'll hit on Thursday. Looks like another potentially dry day on Friday, and then we get into some more action on Saturday. And you can see each one of these now is most likely to include some thunderstorm activity. GFS ensemble total accumulated precipitation. Not a whole lot until we get into Thursday. You can see we bump that up a little greater than 0.6 of an inch, and incrementally. These are 2-meter temperatures forecast, today being warmest, and we're coming out of that with a cooling trend. And then tomorrow we're seeing temperatures that'll drop well down, and nights that'll feature some chilly nights ahead with a cool period. Looks like we'll see high temperatures closer to 60 degrees, maybe a little higher than that. And then a little bit of a ramp up, but we're kind of back into the same mode here once we get past the 22nd, 23rd. Now these are dew point temperatures, and what you can see is not a whole lot of 60 or higher, but some 50s return. That's enough to get the job done with some potentially heavy rainfall, especially as we looked at that on Thursday. Low-level jets being derived off the 850 hectopascal winds. This again centered on Montpelier. We got a peak wind here that's going to be taking place on Tuesday. That's a northwesterly gust. And then secondarily to that, it looks like down the road a piece as we get in toward the this coming weekend. Convective available potential energy as indicated here. No great shakes there. And in terms of shear, greater than 40 knots, 35 knots is always a problem. So you can see we're kind of going down in shear. And looking at the 850 hectopascal temperatures, roughly about the top of Mount Mansfield, very much above normal, above 0 degrees centigrade, so no real issues there. Looks like the temperatures again climb sufficiently strong enough, no issues for any kind of snow. This is the 7-day total QPF from the Weather Prediction Center, and you can see roughly 1 inch amounts. This is after this morning's precipitation that fell last night, so this is additional from that point on. I still think this might be just a little bit low, indicated 1/2 inch to 1 inch amounts. I think that's a little bit off. Now looking at weighted temperatures across the region, we're running a little cooler here in the near future, so the next 5-day maximum temperature is running 3 to 6 degrees below the seasonal norms. And then about 3 days later, we warm back up with that sort of steady state rise as we get into the later part of the week, and we'll see temperatures about neutral. So we have warmer than normal temperatures right now. Cold front will erase that, push that out to sea. Here's the colder air. It's the worst of it seems to be in the middle of the country, the Dakotas and the plains. A lot of high latitude blocking, producing a lot of warmer than normal temperatures up in the Arctic region, and you can see that across Alaska. This favors colder weather pushing into the middle part of the United States and occasionally into the northeast U.S. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.